Hi there, here we are again. I just have another series that I want to do an introduction for. This is going to be a series that's really going to talk about emotions. People that are around me, people that are familiar with me, know that I have spent quite a bit of time in the last few years researching, studying, both in the Bible and in lots of other books as well, studying and learning about emotions. And that's because I believe it is a very important area to learn. And in my life, if I use the modern terminology and modern vernacular that we use, there's a book that's out there that talks about emotional intelligence. It's a phrase that gets used, emotional intelligence. Now, for me, what I realized was a point several years ago was that actually when I stopped and was honest with myself and I looked at my life and I looked at what I'd gone through, God had been teaching me a lot and I had learned a lot from the Lord, but I actually had to look at my journey and look at my emotional intelligence for myself and see that actually I didn't have as much emotional intelligence as what I really needed, and I was suffering in life because of that. And so I went on a journey, and I've been on a journey and continue on a journey every day to learn more about how to live with our emotions. Because one thing I've realized about emotions is that we need to learn to live with them. We can't escape them. And unfortunately, some branches of teaching that I've heard of almost can be there to tell us that we almost to deny our emotions or pretend that we don't have them or try and really suppress them and consider that to be how we healthily handle our emotions, and I don't believe in that one. At the other extent, there can be extremes where people just go with whatever their emotions tell them. However they feel, that's what they do. If they feel like doing something, that's what they do. They follow their feelings, and their feelings are what direct their lives. And I think actually that isn't the case. I think we need to find more of it, similar to most principles I end up finding myself talking and discussing, is that actually we need to look at emotions and find the middle ground between those, where we don't ignore our emotions, but we don't be completely led by them. And what I've found is so wonderful is the Psalms specifically have so much to say about emotions. David, a man after God's own heart, as he was described, actually shows through the whole of the Psalms his journey and how he learned through his relationship with God how to handle his emotions. We see what he did with each and every one of his emotions. And I really believe that God has a lot of wisdom, a lot to say about emotions. We'll see that from the word. And also we can also learn and we can grow in those areas. There's a book that I've read recently about emotionally healthy spirituality, and it was one of those books. You may find this, I've found this with books. Sometimes God leads me to a book, and that book is the kind of open door. It is the door. It is the book that opens me up to a whole new realm of study, of revelation, of understanding. It takes me on a journey that I've never been on before. And how I've had those books. I've had other books that have been something that have come into the middle of my journey, and they've given me courage to keep going, and they've given me a further direction about what I was actually feeling. And then there are those books that actually seem to come on the back end, and they're almost like a confirmation. They bring and come and speak your language, as it were. They speak to you and show you something that you might not have seen before. And so this particular book, as I read it, I realized, yes, this is what I've recognized. And one of the key phrases in that book is that in order to be spiritually mature, we must also learn to be emotionally mature. That how we handle our emotions will have a lot to say and have a lot to do with how we live our lives. So as we go into this, as we jump off in this, I'm going to share some of my experiences, hopefully open up more of my own heart, be vulnerable with you, but also show you some of the things God's shown me, some of the lessons I've learned, because I really believe it's important. Something I've seen is that our emotions will affect our relationships, our relationship with God, our relationship with one another. The other thing is also that our emotions will affect even our physical health. Our physical body can be affected by the way we handle our emotions. So emotions are a big thing we need to be aware of, we need to be considered. So I look forward to sharing more with you. Bless you. See you again soon.